Hi guys, welcome back to Batok Itola. This is Mujola Olua and I'm super thrilled to be here once again. Today we want to talk about caution fee. It's very important and this is a bar gist because I literally just collected my caution fee last night and I've cooked a pot of soup out of it which I've just finished enjoying. So let's talk about caution fee today. It's part of the issues surrounding tenancies and we have a tenancy playlist on this channel. If you're new, please look under the playlist section and you will see the list on tenancies. You can watch all the videos. We've talked about rent, we've talked about possession, ownership of property, how your landlord can evict you, how you can claim your rights, the landlord's duty to you, your responsibilities towards the landlord, quick notices, notice of owner's intention to recover possession. We even have sample drafts in that playlist. Please watch it. Don't forget to like the video when you've seen it. Leave comments in the comment section and by all means share the video with your friends, with your foes, far and wide. This is Bargist. Let's talk about caution fee today. Caution fee is not exactly known to law in the sense that the law does not necessarily provide for it, but there's a mention of it in a law such as the Lagos Tenancy Law, for instance. If you look at section 10A, it talks about, it mentions caution fee. Another name for caution fee is security deposit. So in some countries or districts or jurisdictions, they may call it security deposit. It's the same thing as caution fee. So let's go through the WH questions so that we answer or we share knowledge chronologically. What is caution fee? Caution fee is the amount of money that or a surcharge that is placed on your rent, which you pay to the landlord or his agent when you're moving into a property to secure the property against damages that may be caused by you. So the landlord is foretelling or preempting you and saying that, oh, when you're moving out of this property, let's say you damage A, B, or C, instead of asking you to repair the damages, we're just going to use your caution fee to repair it and restore it to a tenantable condition for the next tenant. So you will go without collecting that caution fee. So that is what caution fee is. It's to caution you against damages. And in the case that you damage the property, it will secure or ensure the landlord against the loss that may be caused by your damages. So that's essentially what caution fee is. Who pays caution fee? The tenant pays caution fee to the landlord or his agent. When do you pay caution fee? When you're going into the property, when you are renting the property, and it's a one-time payment. You don't continue to pay it as long as you renew your rent. You just pay it once when you're going into the property. Then why do you pay caution fee? I've just explained that it ensures the landlord, protects the landlord. It's a security deposit, secures the landlord's pocket from damages that may be from expenses that may be incurred from repairing damages that the tenant may make to the property. Also, it cautions the tenant from misusing the property, knowing that they made a deposit that they're entitled to recouping if they use the property in a good way and if they hand it over in good condition, in tenantable condition. So that is why caution fee is paid. So we talked about who, what, why, when, then how. Does this really apply to caution fee? Well, essentially, you pay it when you're paying your rent to the landlord. So I've said several on this channel, I've been a tenant, so I've rented properties and I have managed properties as a lawyer. So I know so much about these things. Ordinarily, what I do when I manage properties is to indicate the caution fee, because you know when you're issuing a receipt, the receipt is for the rent. But at the back of the receipt or somewhere underneath it, we indicate that we collected caution fee. So if you're a tenant and the landlord fails to indicate it, insist that they put it somewhere on the receipt. The Lagos Tenancy Law, if you look at section 10A, says that the landlord should issue a separate receipt if he collects a security deposit from you. But most landlords don't do this. So you should insist on getting proof of payment. Maybe they indicate it on the rent receipt, or you get a separate receipt just as the law provides. So you can check the tenancy law of your state to see if it provides. But as far as the research that I did before this video, the law does not really cater to caution fee. Now, what's the industry standard? 10% of your rent. Some landlords take more than that. You know that there's a lot of excesses in the real estate sector that is not being curbed by government, by law, or by anything. So we'll talk about it as it is on this channel. There's no need to deceive ourselves. So some landlords, you know, they increase it as they see fit, but generally most people charge 10%. The ones that I've paid 10% in each instance, or in all instances. Okay, one time I paid 10% of the total package. At another time I paid 10% of the rent itself. So that is what caution fee is. Now, you pay it one time when you're entering the property, but when you're moving out, you're entitled to a refund. It is refundable. Ordinarily, caution fee should be remitted to your landlord, such that whether the agent is changed or not, or the property manager or caretaker is changed or not before you move out of the property, or whether it's a long period of time before you move out of the property, there will be no excuse, which is something I also saw a lot when I was a mediator. There will be no excuse of, oh, we changed our agent, he went with your money, we can't provide it to you because you didn't pay it to us. No, the standard practice is that you pay it alongside the total package, but it is remitted alongside the rent to your landlord. There are some other things like agreement fee, agency fee. Those ones go to the proper channels, the person preparing the agreement and then the agent. But the rent goes to the landlord, so the caution fee should also go to the landlord. So you lay claim to the caution fee directly from the landlord. But if you have an agent, by the time you're moving out, you ask from the agent. So the agent will liaise with the landlord to refund the caution fee. It is refundable if you have used the property in good condition. So ordinarily, or say generally, sharp practices, most or many landlords or agents don't want to return caution fee. Some people even forget to take it when they are leaving, and some people feel like, oh, it's been a long time, or the money is negligible, I don't need it. And then some landlords will hope that you don't even ask for it, or they say that they don't have it when you're leaving, different dodging tactics. But if you're interested in caution fee, you're entitled to a refund. And all you need to do is agree with the landlord or the agent or manager of the property to inspect the property when you have moved your things out. So if to their satisfaction you have used the house in a good way, and you're returning to them in tenantable condition without damages, they will refund your caution fee to you. You're entitled to that refund. But if you damage the property, they will take out of that caution fee to repair the damages. They will give you a change. But if there's no change, that means you go without your caution fee. So very important. Personally, I've always tried to use properties as my own. As a matter of fact, I remember the first time I collected caution fee, when I called the agent and said, I've moved out, please come and inspect this property. He said, oh, he's not around by the time I moved out. So we agreed on a date, like 3 days afterward. I came from my new place because I locked the property. I didn't leave the key. So he said that when I come and he inspects, I told him I'm going to hand over the key, which is the proper thing to do. Because if you move out and then you're laying claim to caution fee, and then some people go in while the landlord or the agent or has not inspected, and then they spoil the house before that, you will still bear the brunt. So it's important, have the landlord or his agent inspect the property as soon as possible after you have moved out, and then hand over the possession back to them properly. Very important. So you already know that if you are living in flight, or if you are running away with your landlord's rent, areas of rent or whatnot, you know that you cannot ask for caution fee. So this is a proper procedure for people who want to follow due process. So I called him, he came, he inspected the property, he was so impressed. He was even telling me, and the landlord wants you to stay, the landlord really likes you, this and that. But that ship had sailed. I had already rented another place, I had moved in and whatnot. So, and then he said he was really impressed, because if you come to that house, I had friends, siblings, and all family who visited me, who stayed with me, and they can testify. Someone was even telling me just yesterday that, do you remember how you used that house? It was, should I say, spotless. Like, even if I wanted to kill an ant or something on the wall, instead of just wham, batting it against the wall, I'd rather go look for insecticide, hoping that it won't run away, to fleet it so that there will be no scratch, no stain on the wall. So I'm very careful with other people's property, because I'm in possession of it at the time, and also because I do not like a situation where, when I move out, they will now accuse me of having destroyed their property. I do not like that at all. The Bible says the prince of this world came and found nothing, no fault in me. So he returned my caution fee, but he did not return it in full. Despite the fact that I used my money to repair a lot of things, which I'm going to talk about much later, he now begged and said, oh, because if he didn't give me, I was going to call the landlord. And he was in fear of the landlord. The landlord was a decent person and a man of means, so he now said that the caution fees with him is not with the landlord, that I should please, he doesn't have the whole amount. So he deducted 5,000 and returned and transferred the rest to me before I could say jack. I took it in good faith. I left, even though some people I told were blaming me and saying, so why did you give him part of the money? You should have insisted on the balance. But the way agents are, dubious people. I'm sorry if you're an agent watching this, you know how your colleagues are. I just hope that you people make heaven. Because the way you used to behave in Nigeria, in particular, house agents, caretakers, property managers, you people behave as if there's no tomorrow. And there's tomorrow and there's God. But that's not what we're talking about today. So, I left him. So recently, too, after I had moved out of this property, the agent, I told him, come and inspect the property, because he didn't give me a key when I was moving out. I fixed the keys and everything. I'm taking, my padlock with me and all of that. Even though I left the keys that I fixed, I left it with him. So he said, okay, just close the door. I'll come and inspect it. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. Kilo day, inspect the property, give me my caution fee. This man was saying, well, I've not gone there. Oh, I will go there. So after a few weeks, what I did, and which is what I'm going to explain, this is how to get your caution fee, is that I wrote him a letter of demand, demanding for the refund of my caution fee. In that letter, I added it the demand for caution fee, security deposit refund. And maybe when I'm editing the video, I'm going to paste, some parts of the letter. I'll redact some personal information and paste the letter on the screen. So I told him, I said, or maybe I'll make a separate video with the draft. So I told him, I said that, I used this property in tenantable condition. I moved in so year. I paid my rent as due. I paid, this is the total package. This is the breakdown. This is the amount of caution fee I paid. So when I went to collect receipt, to pay and collect receipt the first year in his office, I insisted that I should put all the other things I paid for at the back of the receipt, caution fee, agency agreements, all those things, in his own hand. So he wrote it at the back. So when I wrote the letter of demand, I scanned the receipt front and back and attached it to the letter of demand and sent it to him. So because I knew he was a very sneaky person, I picked the number on the house receipt, which I know belongs to his company official number, which is what is on their receipt, and I forwarded, by WhatsApp. I served that number a copy of the letter of demand. This man did not reply me at first, but the person who was at the end of the official line replied. Apparently that person was his boss, whom I'd never even spoken to. So he was concerned about the letter. They asked some questions. I replied him. Then he said he was going to call his agent and the agent will sort it out. So he called the agent. I gave them 7 days to refund. I said, I've used your property. I've returned it in good condition. I informed you when I was leaving. You said you were going to check. I've been checking with you. You keep saying you have not checked it. And I told him, I said, I have a recorded video and pictures, photos of how the property was and how I handed it over. That is also very important. If you're interested in your caution fee, it may be instructive for you to take photos or a video recording of how the property was when you're moving in. Maybe save it to Google Drive or something. And then if there are faults in the house, write your agent an official letter or a text that you will be able to save somewhere, highlighting the faults that you met in the house, asking him to repair. So whether he repairs it or not, when you're leaving, he will not put it on your account, because you will refer to that text or that letter stating that this and this way. Because when the agent eventually called me after, I think on the 6th or 7th date, when he eventually called, he now wanted to start saying, oh, I just went to the house, I saw that one door, the key is missing. I had to remind him that you did not give me any key. All the doors to the house were, ajar, no key. Yes, you sent someone to repair it, but the person said that you did not pay them. And the person called you in my presence and you were fighting about money. And the person told me that if I am interested in having keys, I should pay for it. I paid. The person had to bring a machine to weld a part of the door that had, torn, and to fix the handles for me. These are things you're supposed to do that you promised to do, but you sneakily left them. I also reminded him of how I fixed the toilet, fixed the kitchen, those things I did out of my pocket. I used the property well. I paid so much in that house. Apart from my own apartment, there were times they say, oh, this thing spot, this thousands of naira is going, this hundreds of naira is going, payment in that house. I paid a lot. I really paid a lot in that house. And so unfair, but that's not why we're here. So I reminded him of that. Then he now subpeddled and said he was joking, that okay, he has even argued on my behalf with the landlord or with his boss that I sent the letter to, that well, they know I'm a lawyer, so I did know I'm trying to show that I'm a lawyer, that he has defended me before the boss, that I actually used the property where I didn't spoil anything. So he was now suggesting that his boss thinks that it's not possible for someone to live in the house and not damage anything. So on that condition, the boss has not released the money, but he's willing to pay me, so I should tell him how much he should pay. I said, this is the amount I paid, this is what I'm expecting. He kept pressing, there's no money, there's this, there's that, different excuses. Honestly, I've narrated this to my family members, and they're not happy that I gave him, a cut. So I reduced the money. I said, okay, pay me this amount. And then he further reduced the amount. By the time he sent it, he had taken a whopping sum out of it. But essentially, I have my caution fee. So I asked him to pay 93% of the caution fee as the amount I could reduce it to, but he sneakily paid me 80%. Well, I said, I'll take it, I told my family member, that stayed with me in the property, and they actually want me to press for more, but we'll see how that goes. But honestly, that is what transpired. I've gone to the market, I've used the money to cook soup. So if you're interested in getting your caution fee, this is what you should do. Number one, like I said, when you get into the property and you're paying for caution fee, have them indicate the amount you paid on the receipt, or issue a separate receipt according to the Lagos law that we earlier stated. 2, take photos and videos of the property in the condition that you met it, and keep it somewhere safe. Even if you're going to spend 5-10 years in the property, that is if you're interested in caution fee. You could, out of the charitable goodness of your heart, let it go. So 3 is that list the faults in the house and demand a repair of all those faults, as soon as you get to the property. Ordinarily, this should not be something you're doing, because people should give houses out in tenantable conditions. But I'm saying this because of the peculiarity of the Nigerian society. You know that agents give houses out all the time, even landlords, in non-tenantable conditions. And if you insist on your right, you will lose your left, and another person will come and take the property. So because there's a low demand, for quality around here. So when you're insisting on quality, sometimes someone else will come and take the sub quality, and then the person offering you the low quality will have something to say and say, "Shibi, you were doing shakara, someone else has taken it," or something. So if they've given you property that comes with a fault, and you know that you don't want to repair it with your money, write to them by text, call them, or by an official letter written under your own hand. You don't even need a lawyer for these things. I'm a lawyer, but when I wrote my letter, I decided not to use my seal, because I thought it was going to be a waste of seal, because these people are not even worth it. So write a letter asking them to repair it and file it away somewhere. That's 3. 4, use the property as if it were your own. That is if you're a person that uses things well. So if you don't use things well, don't use it as if it's your own. Use it in a good way. Use it in a way that will allow you to return it in tenantable conditions. In a tenantable condition. 5 is that if you're carrying out repairs or adjustments to the house, or you are bringing in fixtures, introducing fixtures and fittings, make sure that you seek the landlord's permission, especially for large repairs or adjustments. Seek the landlord's permission, because that might be something they're hiding under. For instance, if the landlord prohibits you from painting the house and you go ahead and paint, when it's time for you to collect your caution fee, they might say that that's what they will use to repaint the house and restore it to the color that you tampered with. So landlords hide behind a lot of things, and agents and property managers and caretakers. So if you're carrying out adjustments to the property, that's the 5th thing. Make sure it is with your landlord's consent. 6 is that if you're living in the house for a long period of time, there will definitely be wears and tears. Make sure you repair these little things around the house. So don't wait for the landlord, because there's an expected level of depreciation that is expected, that if you're living in a house, this will happen, that will happen. So you repair those little things, and if anything is beyond the capacity to repair, call your landlord's attention to it before you move out. Don't wait and say that I will collect my caution fee, they will repair their property. Be calling their attention to it as it's coming up if you cannot fix it yourself. That should be number 6. Then number 7 is that when it's time for you to move out, notify your landlord ahead of time. Don't live like the Israelites left Egypt, because you might not have a solution or a refund, because the landlord might add under that and say you left in flight and left some damages for him or whatnot, which might not be your fault. So inform your landlord and agree on a time for him or her to come and inspect the property. So that's number 7. So when they inspect the property, ask for your caution fee. Inform them, I'm moving out, I want you to inspect and return my caution fee, because that's, I told the guy, I said, I'm moving out, I want you to come and inspect. He said, okay. So you already understood that he has to refund my caution fee. Or I think I even messaged him and told him that he should come and inspect so that he can refund me. So he said he would do the needful, and then he kept procrastinating until I served him a letter. So do that. And if your agent is sensible like the first agent that I talked about, they will come look at the property. If there's any fault, they will raise it, and then they can refund. As a matter of fact, you can point out the faults. I think I've done that in one house before. So you tell your agent that, okay, this thing spoiled while I was here, that one spoiled while I was here, I fixed this one, I didn't fix this one. There's no need to hide anything. If they want to deduct it, let them deduct it from your caution fee. But if they want to give it to you, let them give it to you. Some might write it off and say, well, it's bound to happen. Some might deduct it, as the case may be. So that. Then after you have made a demand, if the landlord or the agent does not now return the caution fee, the next step is for you to write a letter of demand. You can write it through a lawyer, you can write it yourself, because I have a law firm of my own. I wrote it with my law firm's letterhead under my own, and I had written it as if I write to a lawyer. So I wanted one of my friends to endorse it, execute it for me, but they were out of jurisdiction, and I just thought, well, these people are not even worth our seals. So let me write it under my hand without seal and sign it. Once you have signed, it's worthful. Because an unsigned document is a worthless document. So if you have signed it, it's worthful. So I wrote it, I sent it, and then send it to the proper parties, to the house agent. If you know that the person has a superior and they've been acting sneaky, send it to their superior as well. Copy their superior. So what I did was that I copied a government mediation house in the letter, so that they will know that I'm serious. So I said that I'm writing to collect, to demand a refund of my caution fee. The tenant in house number so flat number so I moved in on so date. I paid as follows. I moved out on so date. Attached the receipt and evidence of payment of caution fee. I've used the house in a good way, and I've returned it in good condition. And the agent said he was going to inspect. It did not. But I'm hereby demanding a refund of my caution fee. Now, some agents will tell you that, I've not gotten a new tenant, please hold on. That is none of your business. Caution fee refund is not contingent upon, securing a new tenant or a fresh tenant into the property. It is their own headache if they say that they want to get a new tenant and then use that person's caution fee to pay you. That is none of your business. But if you want to agree, fine. But if not, let them know that those things are not they are not one and the same thing. So let them give you your money so you can go. So and then I said that within 7 days I want my refund. This is my account number. If you don't do this, I'll take legal steps to get my refund. Thank you. I expect you to expedite action. I expect you to do the needful, to cooperate, and all of that. I signed it. So that's essentially what I did. And then they got the letter, they called me, and then they said they were going to pay and whatnot. So if in effect, if they had not paid within 7 days, then the mediation house would have written them a letter to invite both of us, to sit down and now negotiate an agreement that would now be signed before the law, before the government. So that would have happened. That's the next step. That's the implication of copying the mediation house. So if you have another authority, lawful authority that you can copy in the letter, copy it as a sign of seriousness, so that they will know that you're not taking things, for granted. And then hopefully you will get your caution fee. If those things don't work, you can go to court and claim it. But in most cases, many people will probably consider, oh, it's a negligible amount, I don't want to spend so amount going to court to claim this, or I want to live amicably, it's really nothing, I leave them to God, or I leave them to themselves and whatnot. But after, ADR does not work, the next step would be to go to court to claim the refund of your caution fee. You can go to a magistrate court or a small claims court, to claim it, because it's usually a small amount. and then you get your caution fee. So that is all about caution fee. I hope you've learned one thing or two. Leave comments in the comment section. Let's continue the conversation. Mail us at houseoflivingstones@gmail.com for all your questions, queries, and inquiries, and book a paid consultation if you need one. I will see you in my very next video. Don't forget, caution fee is refundable if you do not destroy or damage the property. Toodles!